Hi everyone. So to cap off our unit on multiplying fractions, I wanted to talk about three special types of fraction multiplication word problems. Now, you'll definitely see questions where you need to find a part of a group. You'll definitely see questions where you need to make equal groups, but both of those kinds of story problems, most fifth graders recognize right away. So I want to show you three other types that can sometimes be a little tricky. So the first is when you're solving for area. So for example, you might see a question that says Nancy's garden is 3 3/4 yards by 4 1/2 yards. She needs to find the area of the garden so she knows how much topsoil to buy. What is the area of Nancy's garden? So I get the gist here that this woman, Nancy, needs to know the size of her garden so that she knows how much soil or dirt that she needs to buy. So let's go through line by line to find the pieces that will help us solve this question. First, Nancy's garden is 3 3/4 yards by 4 1/2 yards. So I'm picturing that garden and I can tell that the side length is 3 3/4 yards and the bottom length is 4 1/2 yards. Next, she needs to find the area of the garden so she knows how much topsoil to buy. I remember from last year that area means the same thing as finding the length times the width. It's giving us all that space on the inside. So this is a huge clue that I'm going to need to multiply those two dimensions. Finally, I need to find the total area of Nancy's garden. So to do this, I'll multiply 3 3/4 times 4 1/2. Since I have two mixed number factors, I'll first turn those into improper fractions. 15/4 times 9/2, which is the same as 135/8. Now 135/8 is an improper fraction, so I can turn that into 16 7/8 as a mixed number. Since 7/8 is already in simplest form, I can say that the area of Nancy's garden is 16 7/8 square yards. So be on the lookout for area questions, which will require you to remember that area is just multiplying the length times the width. Now, the second type of special fraction word problem would be when you're solving a multi-step problem and you need to find part of a group as a piece of the question. So sometimes your questions will look like this. The fifth grade class used 5 identical buses to go on a field trip. There was a total of 40 seats on each bus. All of the seats on 4 buses were filled. 4/5 of the seats on the last bus were filled. And 1/8 of all the passengers on the trip were adults. How many adults went on the trip? Okay, so this question looks intimidating, no doubt about it. But it's exactly the same process as any other story problem. We're still going to go line by line, and as we do that, I think you'll find that this actually isn't so bad. So the first sentence tells me the fifth grade class used 5 identical buses to go on a field trip. So I'm picturing 5 identical school buses lined up outside of our building. Then the first bullet note says there was a total of 40 seats on each bus. That means every bus could fit 40 people. The second bullet note says all of the seats on 4 buses were filled. So that tells me that the first 4 buses used all 40 of the seats. So I can multiply 4 times 40 to tell me that the first 4 buses were full of 160 passengers. The next bullet note tells me that 4/5 of the seats on the last bus were filled. Now, the key part of this question is seeing that fraction of combination right at the beginning. Remember, fraction of or number of means to multiply. And in this case, we're doing 4/5 of the seats. Since there are 40 seats on a bus, we need to multiply 4/5 times 40 to find how many seats on that last bus were filled. 4/5 times 40 is the same as 165ths, or 32 more passengers. Finally, my last bullet note says 1/8 of all the passengers on the trip were adults. And of course, I need to find how many adults went on the field trip. Again, I see that fraction of combination. 1/8 of means to multiply. And in this case, we're taking 1/8 of all the passengers. So first, I need to know how many total people were on the trip. So I can combine the 160 people from the first 4 buses plus the 32 people from the last bus for a total of 192 people. Then I can multiply to find 1/8 of all of those passengers. 1/8 times 192 is 192 over 8, which is equivalent to the whole number 24. So I can answer this question by saying that 24 adults went on the trip. So when you see a question like this, don't be intimidated. Just go line by line, and especially be on the lookout for that fraction of combination. You can always tell what it links to by looking what's right next to that fraction of. So here it was 4/5 of the seats on the last bus, and here it was 1/8 of all the passengers. Let's take a look at the last special type of word problem because this is also going to use that fraction of combination. And this third type is when we're using a multi-step problem that is finding a part of a part. So that might look something like this. In a 5th grade class, 4/5 of the girls have brown hair. Of the brown-haired girls, 3/4 of them have long hair. Of the girls with long brown hair, 1/3 of them have green eyes. What fraction of the girls in the class have long brown hair and green eyes? Okay, so I gather from this story problem that the person is trying to figure out what fraction of the class has long brown hair and green eyes. And we can attack each sentence of this word problem kind of like a puzzle. So the first sentence tells me that in a 5th grade class, 4/5 of the girls have brown hair. So I'm going to imagine the class as a large rectangle bar with 5 separate equal size sections. And I know 4/5 of the girls have brown hair. So I'll shade in 4 of those sections to show the part or the fraction of the class that has brown hair. Now the next sentence says, of the brown-haired girls, 3/4 of them have long hair. So if I'm zooming in on just that part of the bar that's shaded in, I know I now need to take a part of a part because I see that fraction of combination. I'm trying to find 3/4 of the 4/5 because I need 3/4 of them, meaning the girls with brown hair. Then the next sentence says, of the girls with long brown hair, 1/3 of them have green eyes. So now again, I see that fraction of combination. I know that anytime I have a number next to the word of, I need to multiply. In this case, the them that I'm referring to is the girls with long brown hair. Now, I don't know yet what fraction of the class that is, but when I find that answer in blue, I know I'll be able to multiply that by 1/3 to find the fraction of the class with long brown hair and green eyes, which is what my question sentence is asking me to solve for. So first, 4/5 times 3/4 is going to be the same as 12/20, which in simplest form is 3/5. That tells me that 3/5 of the class are girls with long brown hair. Now I can use that 3/5 number as part of my second step, which is to multiply 3/5 times 1/3. That gives me 3/15 or 1/5 in simplest form. So finally, I can answer my question by saying that 1/5 of the class are girls with long brown hair and green eyes. So be on the lookout for these special kinds of story problems. They seem super intimidating at the beginning, but once you see that fraction of combination and you break it down sentence by sentence, you are going to be solid with these. So thanks for watching and be on the lookout for that fraction of.